Well, the biased English media has had to put up stories against Granit Xhaka after that game of Liverpool, and they're referring the loss of Arsenal to that that moment that saw Trent and Xhaka really have a very big fight together that resulted in both being flashed 2 yellow cards by the referee. This time around, Fabrizio Romano has gone ahead and been giving us a very concrete information as far as Granit Xhaka at Arsenal is concerned. Welcome to Rokani Media. Good morning. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? Smash the like button, comment and share. We are discussing a little bit of Rob Holding. An Arsenal legendary defender has come out and really given props to Rob Holding. And lastly, Reiss Nelson again on the ladder. Just him to Brighton looks like one of those things that Arsenal need to fight, but the player looks like he's tempted, as I told you in the preview I did yesterday, that he's really tempted to really give a positive reply to the move. So don't forget to subscribe because we want to hit 3,000 subscribers and keep it this channel. Now, you remember that on Sunday Arsenal was playing Liverpool, and by the time Xhaka and Trent really fought or really had a breakout together or a brawl together or a misunderstanding of the field of play that resulted into both of them conceding yellow cards, that resulted into the English media coming in through and obviously giving Xhaka a very huge go. You know, this media is biased, and guess who sparkled all this? It was Jamie Carragher. He said, I mean, what is he thinking? 2-0 up at Anfield, throws his arms or something into Trent, just ridiculous. Trent reacts and then the crowd gets up, the ball's already gone, it's 2-0, moments before halftime. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but if I was an Arsenal fan, what are you doing? Doing that is absolutely daft. It's absolutely daft. The game is in your hands. You get involved even leading the challenge with the arm. Why do you do it? And now, going back head to head with Trent rails the crowd up, and it's absolutely idiotic from Xhaka to do that. Now, I really call out Jamie Carragher. You know, these are things that some media personalities come out and really give their opinions about that don't even help in changing the game. Do you think the crowd at Liverpool or at Anfield will ever keep quiet even when Liverpool is losing? I don't think that's the matter. And Arsenal were really on top of their game. Arsenal never lost the game in the first half. Arsenal lost the 3 points in the second half. You know, second half Liverpool came in with a different gear altogether and they really the game. So I don't see the reason as to why Jamie Carragher had a reason to go on and really go at Granit Xhaka. You know, guys, we've seen very many games. You know, such moments have gone ahead to happen in very many games. You know, I think in every match there is a brawl that breaks through between two players. You know, does it lead to the other team to lose? No way. No way. Did Granit Xhaka ever lose his head? He'd never, because however much he was really booked around the 35th minute of the game, Xhaka composed himself towards the end of the game and he never really had a nasty tackle or what, and he kept himself in the game. And the English media brought out that story, spread it like wildfire. Guess what happened? Stories started to emerge that maybe Granit Xhaka is not suitable staying at the club of Arsenal because his contract is going to run down. He needs to not be given a new contract because he was not a leader, because he's the vice captain of Martin Odegaard. And you know why they are doing it? Because he is not holding a British passport, and they are defending Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is holding a British passport. You know, now that all has been really rubbished by Fabrizio Romano, and is telling us that no Granit Xhaka panic. at Arsenal. The board of Arsenal is really positive with Granit Xhaka. Fabrice also does that. The Gunners consider Granit Xhaka a really important player. There is an option on the club side to extend his contract until June 2025. So there is no panic to renew at the moment as his deal is still valid for another 2 years. The focus right now is on extending William Saliba, Bukayo Saka, and Aaron Ramsdale's deals. Then other players will be invited to discuss their terms with the club too. So, Fabrizio Romano was asked this question while on Court Offside podcast because there was a lot of growing misinformation that the player is not being liked by Arsenal because of what he did, and Arteta is really so much disappointed in Granit Xhaka. But I don't see anything that Xhaka did that really led to the loss of the game. And I saw very many medias going ahead onto that game, onto that moment and capitalizing onto it that it really led to the loss of the game. No way, guys. The first goal that Arsenal conceded, if you remember very well, it's because of Zinchenko not being in his position, first and foremost. And that's what we call an scapegoat, because even Bukayo Saka didn't track back, and Ben White found himself in a situation of 1v2. Ben White had Diego Jota, and Curtis Jones to mark. You get? Meaning that Bukayo Saka was supposed to be in that position. So the English media knows how to protect knows how to defend their players. That's what they are doing. But Xhaka at Arsenal, he's still there. They won't even offer him a contract that will see him be at Arsenal until 2025. That's how Mikel Arteta and Edu are so much trustworthy to this player. They are confident, they are assured of him because he's a leader and he's doing lots of things for the club of Arsenal into that orbit. So that is it all about Granit Xhaka, and it's been one of those things that you don't even need to come out and obviously don't have a lot of doubt about, because Fabrizio is the one talking. When Fabrizio says, it's really a fact. Like, he really broke a story yesterday that Liverpool are out of the Trent Alexander-Arnold story. Remember, yesterday afternoon, very many stories were thrown out about how Liverpool is really nearing the completion of the deal of Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham is really that one person that really wants to join Liverpool. And then Fabrizio came in and rubbished it. And obviously, it came to understanding that the deal is true. Everything that Fabrizio said is true. And he really got the right things to say about that. So it shows you how so much important you have to pay attention to detail every time Fabrizio speaks. Xhaka is really a player that Arsenal want to keep. Let's go to Rob Holding. Mikel Sylvester, who was at Manchester United, played for Arsenal, has gone ahead and really said the following about Rob Holding. Because he's been at the club so long, he knows what's at stake. He understands his role now. I think he's ready. Yeah, he's not at the level of Gabriel and Saliba. I think he's a good enough replacement to get them over the line. I don't think Holding is a weak link. It's a team game, and the back four, back six, I would say, are doing well. If you change one player, it's not going to change the end result. Obviously, to me, what I believe in is that Rob Holding is a good player. He won very many aerial duels against Liverpool, and he really showed us that he can raise up to the occasion when he's been called up to do that. And you would love to be having a player like Rob Holding on your bench who is not complaining about game time, but when Saliba gets an injury, he can come in through and really fit the boots of William Saliba. And to me, I understand it would have been a different game of football together, but Saliba was at the Anfield Stadium. But let's talk about the boy that really shined at Anfield. To me, I like the way he played. 4th game in a row for Arsenal. And he's really doing things that are really so much great. I like the player. And I think he's giving Mikel Arteta a second thought that sometimes you need to rest William Saliba and obviously get me some playing time because I deserve it. I've shown you that I'm not greedy of leaving the club of Arsenal like Callum Chambers did, but I want to really come in through and keep playing for this club. I love it and I always put my body on the line. And he's really great. He looks great and he looked good on the day. So I think Rob Holding is going to be one of those players that is going to play on Sunday against West Ham. I know that very well. Reason being, it's really a very huge game to be played in between these two teams. So it's going to be another London derby, and he has proven to Mikel Arteta that he can get the job done, and he's really going to be partnering well with Gabriel Magalhaes as they did against Liverpool. Because when you look at the goals that Arsenal concede against Liverpool, there is no way you are blaming any of those goals on Rob Holding or Gabriel Magalhaes. You know, that's it. They are just overstretched because Zinchenko doesn't track back. First goal, second goal. Guess what happens? Trent Alexander-Arnold doesn't do the needful. Zinchenko doesn't do the needful to stop Trent Alexander-Arnold from really scoring or from really putting in that far post cross that found Firmino. And obviously, he headed it into the back of the net. That's it. But I think Rob Holding had a very good day on the night. And it's really great to see that there is a player who has played for Arsenal that noticed his efforts and they've not gone unrecognized. You know, when you play like Rob Holding and you hear such people recommending your performances, do you know what happens to you? You get a lot of belief. You are strengthened up. You are charged up for the next game, knowing that, all right, my efforts are being commended by a person who was once a Ghana or a Gona. Not so? So let's leave that at that of Rob Holding and let's go to the story of Reiss Nelson. You know, it's an exclusive that came in from the Mail Sport that Arsenal want to keep Reiss Nelson and are hopeful of an extension, but his path at Brighton is clearer and a move to Brighton is an attractive proposition for Reiss Nelson. That is Simon Jones, and it's an exclusive, meaning that the agent of Reiss Nelson is pushing hard to find his player playing time, you know. And I think the injury of Reiss Nelson acted as a blessing in disguise to stay or to keep him at Arsenal, because Arsenal wanted to loan him, but he has gone ahead to come in through and really play some two beautiful games in the Premier League that have opened the eyes of many teams on really signing him in the summer. And it will show you that Arsenal never wanted to give him a new contract. That's why even when his contract was left with 1 year, they never wanted to really see him really put pen to paper, you know. So after putting in those performances against Nottingham Forest and against Bournemouth and Brighton, I think Arsenal now have a second thought about the boy, that maybe we might be having a very good and brilliant player in Reiss Nelson that we had not been given attention to, and they are trying to negotiate with him. But unlucky enough, by the time they're negotiating with him, there is a team known as Brighton knocking on the door of Reiss Nelson, informing him that we want to take you to the club of Brighton and we are going to help you play regular football. At the age of 23, he has lost out on very many chances. He's not getting enough playing time, apart from the season he played on loan at Feyenoord down in Netherlands in the season of 2021-2022 that saw him play into the finale of the Conference League, and Jose Mourinho's AS Roma beat him by 1-0. But he enjoyed that season. He came in at Arsenal during the summer of last season. Arsenal was planning to loan him again, but he got an injury and there was no way they could have loaned him, and obviously it went down to him getting back. And when he returned, he played well against Nottingham Forest, against Brighton, though Arsenal lost 3-1 in that game, and the biggest one was against Bournemouth. And you know, that assist and goal he scores in the dying minutes, you know, it means a lot to any manager who really thinks of really recruiting players whose mentality is way up there. So what he did, you know, coming from injury, and he was brought on, he did lots of stuff in just a space of just, 30 minutes. That is really a player whose mentality is really high quality, and managers would love to be having a player like Reiss Nelson. And secondly, teams like Brighton are going to be playing in Europe next next season, they would love a player like him to be part of their squad because he has that Europe experience, and secondly, he has that technical ability that Brighton always look at before signing the player. So guys, thank you very much for checking through your thoughts on to no Granit Xhaka panic at Arsenal. A welcome in the comment section below. Then, what do you think about Rob Holding being commended by the former Arsenal player known as Mikel Sylvester? But before he came to Arsenal, he first played for my club known as Manchester United, and because he was crossing to Man City, by the time Man City was taking him, Arsene Wenger called him and told him, please come to my team, and that's where he went. Then lastly, what are your thoughts about Brighton becoming an attractive proposition for Reiss Nelson? Yet Arsenal is putting a contract on table for Reiss Nelson to sign. Good morning. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. May the Lord enlighten your day. May you see the impossible become possible by the Lord's grace, guys. I sign out for now. See you later, my Muslim friends. Ramadan Karim.